From WREL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. I'm Cliff Baumgartner. Here's the latest from WREL.com. In a surprise announcement today, Governor Roy Cooper's administration changed out the top leader in the state's unemployment office. Assistant Secretary for the Division of Employment Security Lockhart Taylor, a career employee at DES, is out. Pryor Gibson, a former lawmaker who had been directing a rural development program for the administration, is the new Assistant Secretary, effective immediately. Officials say Taylor will assume a different role at the Department of Commerce with separate duties and responsibilities. All the governor's press office has had to say on the matter so far was that, quote, the governor has directed the Department of Commerce to take actions necessary to address this unprecedented crisis and get more unemployment benefits faster to people who need help now, end quote. The state has been slammed by unemployment claims due to the coronavirus pandemic and the mandatory business shutdowns now easing around the state. Many people have reported long wait times as the DES struggled to staff up and deal with a tsunami of new requests. State lawmakers, too, have been deluged with calls for help. As of Wednesday morning, the state said some 955,000 people had applied for unemployment since mid-March and that nearly $2.8 billion had been paid out. There are also emerging concerns over fraudulent claims, and House members discussed legislation today that would put $2 million toward fraud detection, partly over concerns that a Nigerian scam ring has targeted multiple state unemployment systems during the COVID-19 crisis. House and Senate lawmakers who've held oversight committee meetings on the state's unemployment response have generally been complimentary of Taylor's efforts, with some complaining the governor did not focus early enough on a predictable surge in applications. Taylor's new role at the Department of Commerce was not laid out in the announcement, and he's yet to make a statement as of the time of this recording. The State Division of Prisons has resumed a limited number of inmate transfers to make room for others sentenced to state prison. The movement is being done in phases to prepare for the gradual reopening of the courts and the removal of a moratorium on the acceptance of people now in county jails who have been sentenced to prison. With limited exceptions, state inmates have remained in place since April 6th to limit the spread of coronavirus. In a statement, Commissioner of Prisons Todd Ishii said, quote, the majority of the prison offender population has, in effect, been quarantined for almost 2 months. Our staff has worked hard to contain the spread, to implement virus safety protocols, and we must remain vigilant as we prepare for the next phase of loosened restrictions using all necessary security and medical safety precautions. Marbles Kids Museum, which serves hundreds of families with summer day camps each year, announced this morning that it will offer in-person camps in the coming months, but with some modifications. It's also launching a Marbles Camp to Go experience with summer activities that kids can do at home. Camp Marbles will start on June 15th with a revamped lineup of weekly camps that include exclusive play in the museum and outdoor activities. The museum's website says Marbles has, quote, redesigned our 2020 summer camp program to align with local, state, and CDC guidelines to provide a safe, play-based learning experience for summer campers, end quote. Marbles has launched a series of health and safety measures and participation standards for this summer. Staff and volunteers will have their temperature taken each day. Parents will be asked to answer daily health screening questions about their children. Marbles staff and volunteers will be required to wear masks, and campers will receive their own masks it's highly recommended they wear. For families who are looking for at-home alternatives, Marbles has also launched a Marbles Camp to Go program that includes activity kits with lots of hands-on activities and crafts. Marbles shut down its downtown Raleigh Museum and IMAX Theater in mid-March because of the COVID-19 pandemic and is suffering the loss of months of revenue from ticket sales, admission fees, birthday party rentals, and other planned camps and activities. Last week, Marble urged its supporters to contact Wake County commissioners after the county's proposed budget cut funding for the museum, along with other nonprofit groups. And lastly, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is using radio and video messages to reach minority groups and some of the people hit hardest by COVID-19. The NCDHHS is working with Radio 1 to air a series of preventative messages from prominent leaders. African Americans and Latinx communities make up a disproportionate number of North Carolina's COVID-19 cases and deaths. African Americans make up an estimated 22% of North Carolina's population, 31% of laboratory-confirmed COVID-19 cases, and 35% of deaths. Latinx populations make 9.6% of North Carolina's population and 35% of confirmed COVID-19 cases. This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. As always, if you like the news and information you get from this podcast, let us know. Give us a rating and review wherever it is you listen. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our new episodes. Thanks for listening.